Have you ever heard the phrase, go with the flow? That is your natural state of being, a state of supreme bliss, peace, and freedom.
Wolftelligence!
Welcome back to the podcast. My name is R.E. On this episode, I'm going to discuss going with the flow of life. I think this is a huge topic, and I could talk all day about this. I'll for sure make more podcasts on this subject or around aspects of this subject, but this really comes down to everything is energy. I've talked about this before. Your matter, everything that seems solid vibrates. Everything vibrates at a certain wavelength, has a certain frequency, and what you see and feel around you is on your wavelength. It's what you're in accord with, what you're in tune with. And here, our vibration, our frequency is rising. We're on an upward trajectory. So basically, the flow of life is that we're always evolving. We're always on this upward trajectory, kind of climbing this mountain. And our ego doesn't really want to raise vibration. Our ego wants to stay down here in the lower vibrational aspects of life, cling to addictions and bad habits and things like this. And understanding this really helps you understand what going with the flow is, at least in this aspect, how I'm defining it, is that life naturally evolves to become better and better and better. Life naturally evolves to become more loving, more harmonious, raising vibration, raising frequency, and becoming more unified. We're in a state of separation right now, at least we feel that, and we're kind of starting to come together, as you can see through many things that are happening in society right now, and many things that will happen in the future. And letting go of lower vibrational things that may be weighing you down is one thing that will really just help you go with the flow of life. And one thing that I would say, at least for me, I stopped drinking, at least for the past about 6 months. That's a lower vibrational thing that was kind of getting in my way from going with the flow of life. And I'm not saying that you have to stop doing that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, for me, the way that I've learned to go with the flow of life and get out of my own way, because that's what it really comes down to. Going with the flow of life really comes down to getting out of your own way. I realized that for me, drinking was kind of getting in the way of that. It was lowering my vibration. And it really all just has to do with letting go of boulders of fear that you cling to. We all carry around these very heavy boulders of fear in our mind. They tell us that we can't climb higher. They weigh us down. They actively stop us from climbing higher. But we can choose to let go of them. We can choose to stop clinging and just let go. And the way that life naturally is an effortless flow. Love is an effortless flow. Everything lives in effortless flow. And we often get in our own way. We block this flow. We stop it. Kind of like a dam stopping a river from flowing. The river's always going to keep flowing, but when are we going to just break the dam and stop it and let ourselves flow? When can we just get out of our own way? I mean, it could all just be so simple, but we make it so complicated. It's almost as simple as just making the simple decision to say, yes, I will go with the flow of life. And this doesn't mean letting people take advantage of you. People like to hear things like this and then basically ask a bunch of what-if questions about a bunch of crazy what-if questions. Basically, ask yourself this if you're having all these crazy what-if questions. Is that really going in tune of love, of self-love? Is letting other people take advantage of you in tune with self-love? Because being in tune with self-love is being very close going with the flow of life. And this flow is power. It's not weakness. This flow is love. It's not fear. Flow with the moment. Flow with love. Flow with life. You realize that life is a lot more magical when you're just in the flow. And I'll talk about in future episodes about the flow state, talking about that. But ways that I've kind of gotten into that state are through poetry, writing, making music, meditation. When you're kind of in a timeless place, because, spoiler alert, time isn't real, it's just an illusion. I gotta end the episode there. I could just rant about that for hours.